They have not yet begun the first round match on Court Central, which is where Steffi Graf, a three-time French Open champion, is still taking her warm-up serves against Ines Gorrochategui. She is in the far court. Gorrochategui from Argentina was a quarterfinalist here last year, and she lost badly to Steffi Graf in that quarterfinal. But Steffi Graf feels that this is a very, very challenging first-round match for her.
Yeah, that it is. To play Ines Gorrochategui in the first round is a very difficult draw. Steffi has talked about her difficult section in a draw, but she's looking forward to it. This is not her favorite surface. This part of the year is always difficult for her. Steffi's had some back problems, and this surface really aggravates it more than takes care of the back. Even though you slide, there's more pressure on her physically, but she's well, she feels good, and this is a very interesting first-round matchup between these two.
Steffi Graf, you remember how she used to suffer so badly with allergies here in Paris? The French spring would just drive her allergies crazy, and in fact, she had an operation a couple of years ago, right before Wimbledon, and that seems to have helped that. But yes, Steffi Graf is a bit match shy. She played one clay court tournament in 1995, but it was a green clay court event in Houston. She re-aggravated her back and took 2 more weeks off. Then she had to pull out of a German clay court tournament a few weeks ago because she had the flu. So that took 10 more days out of her clay court preparation for Paris. So as I say, she's a little light on matches, and she feels that Gorrochategui will keep her very, very busy here on Court Central today. Just about underway. Steffi Graf is the 2nd seed here behind Arantxa Sanchez Vicario.
Sanchez Vicario and Graf have swapped positions at the top part of the women's ranking all year long. It's swapped back and forth 6 times with Graf and Sanchez Vicario sharing the #1 spot. Sanchez Vicario is now #1 in the world. Steffi Graf is the #2 player, #2 seed here.
She starts things off. Pops that one wide. The first time Steffi Graf played here was back in 1983. She's only 13 years old, and in fact, she was such a skinny, scrawny kid, everyone thought that she was a ball kid. But once she cleared up that misunderstanding, she beat Corinne Carlson of Sweden and then lost in the next round to Beverly Mold. 3-time winner, and 3 other times she was in the final. This is the tournament that Steffi Graf has won the least amount of times, the Grand Slam. She's won it 3 times. She's won every Grand Slam at least 3 times. She's won Wimbledon 5 times. She's won the Australian Open 4 times. Love 30. And second serve. Big chance for Gorrochategui.
Big forehand from Graf. She's already played a very aggressive game. The opening point, she worked her way into the net, something she's reluctant to do.
15-30. And now 30-all.
Safe to say, don't you think, Mary, that the French Open probably holds some of the fondest memories for Graf, and also maybe some of the ugliest ones. She's had a couple of devastating losses here.
40-30.
3 straight points for Graf. 40-30. A couple of big forehands get Steffi Graf out of trouble. She's on the scoreboard. 1 love. Ines Gorrochategui on the bottom of your screen, serving for the first time.
Gorrochategui missed the second half of last year. She had some arthroscopic knee surgery to her left knee. And according to her coach, Leonardo Lerda, who has been with her for 11 years, has said it's affected her serve.
0-30.
A little bit of trouble here in the opening service game for Gorrochategui. One of the more talented tennis players out here. Just all the shots. She grew up on the surface.
From Cordoba, Argentina.
0-40. Premier service.
Ooh, a big backhand from Graf.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Allows her to break the opening service game of Gorrochategui. She just opens up this point, steps in with a top spin, lets loose. And even the speed from Gorrochategui can't catch up with that one.
(15-0).
15-love now at 2-love in the first set. This is Graf's 13th consecutive year playing the French. She had become in 1987 the youngest ever to win the singles title here when she was just shy of her 18th birthday, but then Celis was even younger when she won it a few years later at 17. 30-love. Actually, in 1990, Celis was just 16 and a half years old.
(40-0).
And this is moving very, very quickly for Graf.
She's playing very well. She's hitting the ball very hard, and Gorrochategui's making some unforced errors.
Yeah, something like that. Steffi Graf emphatically takes a 3-games-to-love lead in the first set. Very, very fashion-conscious city and a very sophisticated crowd out here at Stade Roland Garros watching Steffi Graf, who's come out of the blocks very, very quickly against Ines Gorrochategui. Love 3 and now 15-love.
Out.
That is called
30-0.
out. That Graf forehand, 30-love.
Ines Gorrochategui won the first 2 points in this match and then went on to lose the next 12. And she has stopped that with the first 2 points of the service game.
Hopefully it's not a pattern for her.
Well, Steffi's not being very shy out here today. She is really being very aggressive. She's taking every opportunity to try to attack. Opening point in this match, she found herself at the net, missed the volley, but showing good inclination to get up there.
That goes way out. So a love hold for Ines Gorrochategui, but she's down 3-1 already in this first set. These two have only met in one other tournament, and that was right here last year on this court, but it was a quarterfinal round match. Graf just lost 4 games to Gorrochategui on that occasion. This match is taking place in the bottom half of the draw because Graf is seeded 2 here. Among those in the bottom half, the 4th seed, Conchita Martinez, Anke Huber of Germany, Gabriela Sabatini, and Natasha Zvereva.
30-0.
30 love. Maggie Maleva, the 6th seed from Bulgaria, is also in the bottom section of the draw.
40-0.
Some big serving from Graf is giving her some nice free points here.
Mademoiselle Graf.
Match not even 12 minutes old, and already Steffi Graf has a 4-1 lead in the first set. Ines Gorrochategui serving at 1-4 first set.
Well, Gorrochategui trying to do something a little bit differently. She went into the net behind an approach shot, but it wasn't good enough, and Graf found the pass.
The last time Steffi Graf played on Court Central, she lost to Mary Pierce in 77 minutes. In the 94 French Open semis, she lost 6-2, 6-2. I think she's taking that loss out on Gorrochategui. Not really fair 1 year later. Still harboring crabby thoughts about Court Central. That is a winner.
Well, she's not missing anything today, Steffi Graf. We've seen her forehand just leave her at times. Today she's connecting well. She's moving forward. She's so quick to jump on the ball. She catches it nice and early.
Love 40.
This is Gorrochategui's 4th French Open. She had a good French Open last year. She beat Sawamatsu in the 2nd round, then she beat Sukova, then she beat Eva Majoli, who's been playing very well, and then lost in the quarterfinals to Steffi Graf.
15-40.
Mademoiselle Graf.
And that double fault
Mademoiselle Graf
gives Graf the game and a 5-1 lead. We talk about the fact that Graf hasn't played much and this and that, and maybe she's not quite ready to win her 4th French Open, but the fact is, Betsy, that she's 18-0 this year. She hasn't lost a match yet. In fact, she hasn't dropped a set yet in 1995.
I'd say she's pretty dominant at the moment, much like last year. I mean, at the beginning of last year, everyone was talking, who can stop Steffi Graf?
0-15.
Steffi Graf was every bit as impressive the first 5 months of '94 as was Pete Sampras. And they have both had fluctuating fortune since the second half of last year.
Steffi's back was such a problem for her last year, the second half of that year, and she's never one to complain or to use any type of illness or injury as an excuse, but it certainly affected the second half of her year.
Caused her to skip this year's Australian Open as well. She was really effectively out for 3 months.
Yeah. She did show up to play the Slims Championships, but was not at all healthy, and then missed the Australian Open first tournament of the year.
That, too, is a right calf injury that she had in preparation for the Australian that kept her out. Remember, a couple of years earlier, in 1992, she skipped the Australian Open when she came down with the German measles. We hope all of you watching back in Australia on Channel 9 are enjoying this first day of the French. The weather has begun to remind me of the weather we enjoy at the Australian Open so much. Great Australian summer sunshine for the first Grand Slam of the year. Makes it over. Kind of a skanky way to set up a set point, but that is what Steffi Graf now has. That sails in 18 minutes. Steffi Graf secures the first set of her first round match against Ines Gorrochategui. Back with set 2 in a moment. Back at Roland Garros, it's an easy first set win for Steffi Graf over Ines Gorrochategui. Here's a couple of finals from earlier today. Over on court 2, Anke Huber, the 11th seed from Germany, beat Barbara Schett of Austria in straight sets 3 and 5. On court Central in the first round earlier today, Jeff Tarango went down to two-time French Open champion Jim Courier, the 13th seed this year, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3. And over on court 1, it was Wayne Ferreira, the number 8 seed, taking out Lionel Roux of France, 4, 4, and 5. On court 2, right now, it's Yevgeny Kafelnikov against Jan Simmering. Back at Stade Roland Garros, it is still 2-love in the second set. Ines Gorrochategui with an early break after dropping the first set in 18 minutes. Let's go back now out to the Yevgeny Kafelnikov-Jan Simmering match. Now let's go back to court Central, where Steffi Graf is serving on serve in set 2. Graf at the top of your screen against Ines Gorrochategui. It's been 3 straight. I shouldn't say it's Gorrochategui had a 2-game-to-love lead over Graf. Now it's a little bit more even. Back on serve.
Graf started off so well, and just a couple of errors have creeped in, and Gorrochategui, I think, has settled down a little bit. She came out, I'm sure, a little bit nervous. The first set took 18 minutes.
Didn't have time to be too nervous.
Yeah. Gorrochategui got the early break. Graf broke right back. Speed is one of Gorrochategui's best weapons, and that you need against Steffi Graf, who hits the ball so hard. You can see how far back behind the baseline she is. Just demonstrating how hard and how heavy Graf hits the ball.
Pressing a little bit too much there. 30-15.
Premier service.
And now 15-40. You can see how frustrated Steffi Graf is. She's already been broken once this set. She hates when these kind of errors, unforced errors, creep into her game and breathe life into her opponent. Break point still. And now it's deuce.
So 3 big first serves from Steffi Graf get her out of trouble. And she now has a game point for 3-all in the second set.
Jeu, Mademoiselle Graf.
And she's still a little aggravated at herself, trying to keep her energy level up. 3-all in set 2. 6-1 in the first set for Graf. And Graf a little frustrated. She went all through 1994 without winning a Grand Slam, Steffi Graf. And it had been years since that had been true. And then this year she did not play the Australian Open, so she's looking for a big title. That goes out. You'll remember that last year after she had the devastating semifinal loss on this court to Mary Pierce, she lost in the very first round of Wimbledon to Lori McNeil and took a couple of weeks off from tennis after that one. She was so disappointed in herself. And then at the U.S. Open in the final, she had a nice healthy lead against Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, but for the third time in 1994, Sanchez Vicario came back and beat Graf. Got it. Nice point from Ines Gorrochategui to give her a 40-love lead. And Graf is once again muttering to herself.
Good variety from Gorrochategui, and then she's very quick to get to that drop shot with enough time to catch the ball above the level of the net.
See, she spiked that smash, but didn't put it away, and that's what got her in trouble, Graf. So 40-love. Good hold from Ines Gorrochategui. The Argentine is still alive in set 2. 4-3 lead. Court Central at Stade Roland Garros features Steffi Graf, the number 2 seed, on serve in set 2, 3-4. Steffi Graf will win this match against Ines Gorrochategui, but Betsy, knowing Steffi, she's going to come off saying, I'm not happy with the way I played. She's her own worst critic, and I'm sure she's not happy with her sloppy second set play here.
She's pretty difficult to please, though. I mean, you know, she has to play perfectly in order for her to walk off the court with a smile. And she's done it before. And she is such a perfectionist, and just cannot understand why anything would go astray in her game.
15-all. In 1988, Graf beat Natasha Zvereva on this court in the final in 32 minutes. 6-love, 6-love. Didn't have much to complain about that day.
Kind of knocked Zvereva for a loop, though, there for a while.
No kidding.
That final.
That was in 88. Of course, in 89, Graf lost in 3 sets on this Court Central to Arantxa Sanchez Vicario.
You mentioned Sanchez Vicario beating Steffi Graf 3 times last year. Coming into the French Open, they'd already played 3 times last year. So far this year, they have not met each other 1 time, Sanchez Vicario and Graf. And it's too bad because it's such a good rivalry right now in women's tennis.
Mademoiselle.
An ace gives Graf the game, even at 4 now in set 2 here.
4 jeux partout.
Graf and Sanchez Vicario have surely played an awful lot on Court Central. In 1991, remember, Steffi Graf lost to Arantxa Sanchez Vicario for the 2nd straight years, but that was in the semis. She dusted her 0-2. And that was a messy match for Graf because her father, Peter, was in the stands. He got into a scuffle during the match. Graf played a very, very distracted and bad match. As you say, Betsy Namelson, Graf has had very good memories from this court and very bad ones as well. That backhand got called wide.
15-0.
Graf did well to hang in this point. This ball is in, and Graf does well just to snatch a hold of it and get it back in the court, and reads this one right and just misses with the backhand.
15-love.
That's the kind of shot right there that aggravates Steffi Graf. That backhand slice of hers, sometimes on this surface, the ball will get up a little bit higher than she likes, and she'll float it a little bit long.
Oh. 40-love now.
40-0.
Ines Gorrochategui ranked 28th in the world. Steffi Graf ranked 2. So that's a tough first-round match, considering it's a 128 draw.
Exactly.
There are a lot of stiffs in the women's side.
When Gorrochategui was in the WTA office and found out her draw, she sort of had to think about it for a while and then decided that she would be positive about her really bad luck in drawing Graf in the first round.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Gorrochategui. Changement de balle, s'il vous plaît. Balle neuve.
Gorrochategui holds and has a 5-4 lead in the second set. But boy, did she lose the first. Back with more in a moment. Steffi Graf at the top of your screen.
Prenez place, s'il vous plaît, au bord du
On
court.
serve in the second.
S'il vous plaît.
Trying to hang around in the second set is the second seed, 4-5.
Oh! 15-0. Up.
15 all. Next on Court Central, the #1 seed, the #1 player in the world, Andre Agassi, takes on one of our favorites, Carsten Brosch of Germany, ranked 90 in the world. One of the more colorful guys out there. An ace from Steffi Graf gives her a 30-15 lead. That goes wide.
40-15.
40-15. Stayed her ground, did Graf, but couldn't control the pace from Gorrochategui, 40-30.
40-30.
Gorrochategui quick to jump on this one. Such a fluid and graceful player, Gorrochategui. Plays very similarly to her countrywoman, Gabriella Sabatini, who she's lived in the shadow of.
What are your expectations for Sabatini at this year's French?
I hope it's better than last year's French Open, where she went out in the first round to a very talented Romanian player, and Irina Shpirlea, who's actually played very well coming into the French Open this year. Sabatini has had a pretty good-looking year so far. She should do well.
Mademoiselle Graf.
All right, we'll see. Game to Graf, 5 all. Second set.
5 jeux partout.
Sabatini, the 8th seed this year, plays the Czech Radka Babkova in the first round. Very light on her toes is Graf. One of the great movers, really, in the history of women's tennis.
I love to watch Steffi Graf play because, in my opinion, she gets a quicker jump on the ball than anybody playing the game in women's tennis.
Look how much work she does just to get behind the ball.
Exactly. I mean, she's fast. She's one of the fastest players playing, but she also uses her feet twice better than anybody else. She scurries about so quickly, takes very small steps, and explodes very quickly as soon as she sees where the ball is going to go. Her feet move very, very quickly, and her head never changes position. She keeps her head very, very still, and her feet just go so quickly. Gorrochategui has much loopier and bigger ground strokes.
Love 30. Three break points for Steffi Graf.
0-40.
Oh, man.
Jeu, Mademoiselle Graf.
Something like that. Steffi Graf now with a 6-5 lead. When we come back, she'll be serving for the match.
Mademoiselle
Stay with
Graf
us, everybody.
mène
Plenty of
6
tennis
jeux
left here at day 1 of the 1995 French Open from Roland Garros. Steffi Graf serving for the second round against Ines Gorrochategui of Argentina, who played a better-looking second set. She certainly made it last longer than that 18-minute first set, coming up right now, as you can see, on the 1-hour mark in this first round match. And the stands here at center court, Roland Garros, are very full in anticipation of Andre Agassi, who will take on Karsten Brosch at the end of this one. Three match points for the second seed.
40-0.
One saved.
$40-15.
40-15. A late service call. Second serve now for Graf. And another late call. A double fault.
She'll contest this. She wasn't happy with the call on her first serve.
Still match point for Graf.
40-30. Match. Mademoiselle Graf.
There it is. 6-1. 7-5 in exactly 1 hour. Steffi Graf takes out Ines Gorrochategui. A rotten draw for the Argentine, because she could have beaten an awful lot of people in this draw. She's ranked 28 in the world. She's already out of the 1995 French Open.